I signed mine as Tupac, so.
I don't know if you need all that, but I'll just give you everything that I get them. Well, I did not hear back from Cruz, and I'm not sure if Mr. Haney's gonna make it, but we do have a quorum if y'all wanna get started.
Yes, please.
It is 11 o'clock. Let's get started.
So, first up, we have, Mr. Dallas Kennedy here with the Transitional Learning Center. He is supposed to be under new business 3A, but I would request that we move him up, so that he can do a quick presentation for you guys to discuss what all they do. Is that fine?
Oh, perfect.
Perfect. Mr. Dallas Kennedy?
Hi.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are y'all? My name's Dallas Kennedy. I'm a teacher at the Transition Learning Center, and I was supposed to speak to y'all today, but some of the other teachers were concerned that I'm too sarcastic and would crack too many jokes. So Ms. Laura Morris is going to tell you about our program
prefer that.
instead.
I prefer that.
They did.
We know our Mr. Kennedy. So my name is Laura Morris, and I am one of the facilitators at the Transition Learning Center. And we have brought some of our students here today just to give you guys a quick presentation about kind of what we do, and that we have a willing workforce that is sometimes untapped here in the Permian Basin. The Transition Learning Center, we have 33 students on campus right now, and they are students that graduate from OHS in Permian, and they have a disability, and they're qualified as special needs, and they get to come to us after graduation. We don't do any academics anymore. We only focus on job skills, vocational skills, and daily living skills, and it's tailored individual to the student because our students have different needs, and with the curriculum through the state, you kind of have to, everybody has to learn the same thing and be on the same page. We don't have to do that here. So that's why some of our kiddos can, come to this meeting. This is, what they're doing today. We just got through cleaning Odessa Christian Faith Center. We have some kids back on campus who are learning cooking. They're in culinary classes. So we come here today to you guys. I know most of you are business owners. We are uniquely tailored to be able to teach kids the skills that you need for your company or your business. So if there is something that you need and you're not having, being able to hire somebody for it, I gave you my card. Mr. Kennedy has cards. You guys can get a hold of us and we can have honest and true conversations about maybe what your fears are or what your questions are on hiring one of our students would be. And then we can see what you're needing. And then on campus, we can train our students on campus to do what you guys need them to do. We've had jobs all throughout the community, either at Texas Roadhouse, we have churches, there's different places, there's auto tech shops that they've been to. We are trying to make the community aware that our kids can do more than just SAC at HEB. There's a lot of potential there, and they're willing to work, and they want to work, and then we're able to train them. And if we need to, we can come in with them when you guys hire them and kind of stay with them for a while, make sure that they've got the job down. That way, when we leave them, you guys feel secure about what they're doing. But they really are. They're an untapped resource, and I hope that you guys reach out to me and let me know what your concerns are, what your needs are, and maybe even stop by, see all the wonderful things we're doing there on campus. Yes, sir.
What ages do they stay in that
So
position?
after they graduate, it's from 18 to 22. So let's say they turn 22 in October, they can graduate in May. They just can't return at the age of 23. And our goal at the Transition Learning Center is that when they graduate in May, that next August, they don't need us anymore. So they know how to make their bed. They know how to cook a meal or two for themselves. They have a steady job. We've brought our workforce with us. We do have some kids on campus that will not be able to get a job, but they need something to do a few times a week. So even if there's volunteer things that you guys know of, if you want to reach out to us and let us know, because to sit around and not do anything is the death of people. So our kiddos, even the ones that can't work, they need to feel like they're participating some sort of way. And so they do stop at 22.
Also, what is the transportation?
So we have a
Situation.
small bus on campus. Right now, that's what Mr. Kennedy drives around, but the rest of us are getting our license to be able, it's just a small bus that has wheelchair capabilities. We have 3 Suburbans and then 2 Impalas that we drive around, and we take the kids out.
You said some can't leave the campus? Is it-
Well, we have all kids that leave the campus. We take them out every day. So my job is a vocational trainer, but also community. And so it doesn't really matter what their needs are. I take them out in the community. Like yesterday was our grocery shopping day. So we all went grocery shopping, and I take them out in individual groups.
Is there also options as far as companies taking stuff to y'all while they work there? Bringing it back, not
So-
actually having to leave every time if there's something?
So we do have students, so all students can leave the campus, just some of them may not have an 8 to 5 job. That's not something they can do, but they can do things. So if you needed envelope stuffed, that's a tedious job. I have students on campus who can do that, and they do it willingly, and we do things like that
To keep them busy?
to keep them busy. And it's a skill that they can learn. And we've had devices that we create that help them fold it in the right way, and then they can put it in the envelope, and then we have a special little, it's a sponge actually, but they seal it so they don't have to lick it. Yeah, those are things that we do.
I just wanna say, when you asked about transportation, if it's during school hours, we bring them to work. We
Oh,
will take
yes.
them to work. If it's after hours, their parents will either take them or pick them up. And we've got a couple that actually drive. So there's 1 or 2 that
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
actually have their own vehicles, but
We've
we
helped a
take
few
them
get
to,
their
we take them to
license.
their job sites, so.
Yeah, and drop them off and pick them up if it's between school hours. We also teach them how to use the public transportation system. And we have some that walk. We had one that walks to work in the morning. Yeah. Any other questions? I tried to make it short and sweet.
Well, I heard
Okay.
the volunteer, part of that and everything, but if they do things for me, they're gonna get paid, so.
Okay.
So I'll definitely check with you guys,
Yeah.
once we get.
If there's
everything
anything,
over.
if you have anything, any questions about something that you think, hey, could they do this, then just give us a call and we'll try to work something out. So I
Sure.
appreciate you letting me talk today.
Sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a lot to go over today. First up is gonna be the approval of minutes from October. Those are attached in your packet if you wanna take a quick look, if you haven't had a chance to already.
So for us new people, what is HSN? I was wondering about that.
Hot summer nights.
Perfect, thank you.
Dallas, Dallas,
Yeah,
this is probably gonna be about a 2-hour meeting. If y'all want to
Yes.
leave early,
Yes,
it
sir.
won't offend us at all. It would
Oh,
it'll
yes,
be
sir.
okay.
No, I have no problem leaving government meetings early.
Okay, thank you.
I'll go with you.
You don't need help?
I'll go with you.
We're out of here.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all very much for coming.
Thank you. Good luck, guys.
Don't anybody skip school with.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second, third,
All
fourth, all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, so now we're gonna move over to financials. Again, we have 3 months to review in your packet. First up, we'll go in date order. So October, for the new ones. Each month, we'll print out a statement of activity. We use QuickBooks on the nonprofit side for downtown Odessa. So statement of activity for October, this will just be a snapshot of October itself. And then the next page is your breakdown of how we got to those figures. So Quick overview of October, it looks like we brought in $25,328.24. A lot of that is the parade, sponsorships. We had vendor booths and food truck sales, and then, of course, registration to be in the parade. So that's where that money was generated. It'll break it down on the next page, looking at statement of financial position as of October 31st. This is the snapshot for the fiscal year. And again, our fiscal year started in October, so this is going to be the same pretty much as the previous page. And then the next page gives you, it breaks those numbers out by class. We do every event broken into classes. So the next page, statement of activity for November. Things to notate are our sales, again, 10,708. That again came from the parade. We had some expenses, travel, that was residuals from our state, Texas downtown conference that came in. In October, you saw the large portion of that. Statement of financial position for November. This is, again, our snapshot annual, so this is October and November. Brought our net revenue up to $35,138. And then again, the breakdown of how we got there. Then the most recent would be the statement of activity for December. We had sales of $10,403.20. Again, that went to the parade. And then you'll see here all of our expenses came out. So we're showing a net revenue of negative $9,800 and some change. All of our income came in October and November. All of our expenses went out in December. So, again, the breakdown, but if you'll look at the very last two pages, this will be the most current financials. So still a net revenue for the past 3 months of $25,300. So we're doing really well financially this year. And then the breakdown will show you how we got to that. So downtown art tour, we brought in $5,200 after all expenses were said and done. Parade of lights, and then the letters to Santa and the market, total $21,563 income. State of downtown, you'll see there's a slight mistake I wanted to notate for you guys. We have two state of downtowns. We'll need to consolidate that. I wasn't aware of that until I looked at this, but we have it bringing in $10,500, and then we've had expenses of $6,600 and some change. So those will cancel each other out, and we're up about $3,000 and some change there. But we'll get that corrected for next month. I just didn't want y'all to be confused about that. Treats on the street, again, we had a profit of about $2,500. So total for our events since October this year, we've brought in $33,160. And then we've had some expenses like our state of downtown, staff lunches, office equipment, office supplies, and things like that. That'll all be under that not specified. But it's broken down under each month. And if y'all have any questions on that, I'll be happy to answer them.
Where does the income for not specified come from?
So it just depends on if it's not a event, if it's not one of our classes or events, it comes in there. Also, we just moved over to QuickBooks Online, and so you see that retained amount, that's what was brought in, and it was never classified correctly back in 2020. So it just shows retained earnings that come over every year.
So there's no income coming in. What about money from the city? What is that?
The city funds are completely separate. So this is our nonprofit account only. Our city funds are completely separate under, we use a system called Munis on the city side for that.
Okay, and do we get a record of those as well?
No, you guys are only presiding over the nonprofit side, so we only show the nonprofit financials.
Okay. And what about a budget for the non?
So we've never done a budget, to my knowledge, for the nonprofit side. We do a budget on the city side. But if that's something that the board's interested in, is having a budget for the nonprofit side, we'll be happy to do that. We just don't.
let's see, we had an increase from the year before. We were, I believe, around 170 some odd thousand dollars.
Last year we made, I believe it was like 42,000. And then this year we're at about 20. So total since my start date in January, the program's made, over 60,000, which I think we talked about at the last, board meeting that we had. Over the past 5 years, we've had a loss of about a $5,000 loss a
Yes.
year. So in 12 months, we've made up that
Yes.
and then some.
Yeah.
So we're doing really, really well,
Yes.
compared to the last 5 years.
Yeah, the 4th of July was the first time we've ever made a profit on the 4th of July. So,
Yeah.
so, yeah, we had,
The profit level is going up, what do you see that can be contributed for that success? Can you pinpoint?
I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I think we have a really good staff. I think that we have really honed in on our marketing skills. I think Savannah's a big part of that. I think having a leader who is looking outside the box is really important. I think that we used to have a lot of events, but they weren't planned appropriately or marketed appropriately. I think that our events have seen exponential growth. This was the largest Fandango we've ever had. This is the largest Parade of Lights we've ever had. We had 10,000 people trick-or-treating. And I think a lot of that is staying on top of our events, planning them months in advance, paying attention to the demographics that we're marketing to. We market all over Odessa, not just one specific area. And we're putting a lot of money behind our marketing. So I think just having well thought out events where we've weeded out some events that weren't successful, and that allows us to put more money towards the ones that are. We had paid events. You know, we used to do a paid tea, like I forget what it was called, teddy bears and tea with Santa. It was $60. That's not the market that I believe downtown should be moving in the direction of. Downtown is for everyone, and I feel like a $60 event is very exclusive. So instead, what we did is we did free letters to Santa, where we invited the public to come for free, get their free professional pictures made with Santa Claus. We had over 400 people come through there in conjunction with the parade. And we had a market, we had food trucks, and that's what pays for that. So their entry to be a vendor at the market, their entry to be a food truck at the market, pay for us to be able to put that money back into the community and do a free community service. So I think we have really focused on being community engaged and community focused and making sure that downtown is a space that everybody feels comfortable. And I think with the board support and the staff support, we've just really kind of turned downtown around. And, you know, we're constantly in the news. We're constantly making sure that we're asking the news to cover what we're doing, and show downtown in a positive light. And so I feel like that's been really wildly successful for us. Any questions on financials?
no, not for me.
Can I get a motion?
Motion. Motion to approve.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Perfect. So we'll move on to new business. We already, Mr. Kennedy already spoke to us. So let's talk about downtown conference. Mr. Harridge, myself, and Savannah all went to the Texas Downtown Conference this year. It was really a great experience. I had never been, John had been before, but it was really beneficial for us. We got to see their downtown area. We're actually bringing in one of the speakers for State of Downtown that was at the Texas Downtown Conference. Savannah reached out to her, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, but she's going to be fantastic. So I encourage you guys, if y'all haven't been, to go next year. It really kind of reinvigorates you and shows what the possibilities are. This downtown had really cool downtown art. They had, kind of like we do, a great arts program. And they had murals everywhere, and they had really cool signage, which is part of what we're trying to do is figure out our wayfinding for downtown. And so we got some really great ideas that we took away from that, and met some other downtowners that we can use as resources that have kind of been there, done that. And so I met a lot of great contacts. Savannah made some really good contacts, and we just had a really good time. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and encourage you next year, if you're interested. I think it's something worth looking into, to go and kind of show you all the different possibilities that there are. So I have letter C is discuss board attendance and participation. Again, John asked for that to be on there, so I'll let him handle that discussion.
It's just, I mean, our participation with the board, we haven't had a quorum in the last two,
So we haven't had a meeting in 3 months.
3 months, because we don't have a quorum. And we have some board members that aren't even here today. I just want to say, if you don't want to participate, invest your time, resign from the board. Let's get someone else on there that cares, that can participate. And I understand life happens, you're gonna miss a meeting here and there. It's gonna happen, life happens. But when you're not here more than you are here,
Consistently.
yeah, I truly think you need to resign, because we need our members to participate. Not just show up at the meeting, but help volunteer, participate. We've got lots of events and different things to do. We need people to help participate and volunteer also, and show up at the meeting. That's why I'm talking to a couple of the councilmen, that maybe they need to change their appointment of who they've got and who they don't. And if people aren't interested anymore, just resign. I mean, it's not that hard.
Yep.
So, and that's kind of where I'm at on that.
I agree. 100%.
Now we need to discuss and elect officers for the 22-23 board position. We have chair, vice chair, and treasurer. We'll start with chair.
Well, Chair, that's automatic, isn't it?
It's not automatic.
It's not.
I was co-chair last year, and it's not automatic. It still has to be voted.
Oh, okay, so it has to be voted on? Okay. Well, I nominate John to be president or
Chair.
presiding chair, excuse me.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, vice chair.
Do I have any nominees?
I don't have a problem going back as vice chair on that if everybody's okay with that, unless
Let's go
somebody
back
else
and
want to be? Anybody else want to be?
Jump in there.
I'd like to make a motion
All right.
to nominate him for vice chair.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Passes.
Sean is our vice chair. Now we need a treasurer. It was Chandra. Chandra. I can't speak. I'm sorry. I'm sick, guys.
You combined me with somebody, didn't you?
Sean and Sandra.
Yeah. Yeah. It was Sandra, Mrs. Oath, and so now we'll need to elect somebody new for treasurer. And really, it sounds scary, but
It's
treasurer.
really not.
It's,
Yeah, it's really-
we do all the finances and
Yeah,
provide them to you,
yeah.
but yeah.
And guys, also treasurer, one thing she did was another one to sign checks. All of our checks need 2 signatures. Casey can sign, I can sign. And if we need something, in case one of us aren't here, we do
Yeah.
the third person. So
Correct. It's the
treasurer
third
is-
signature.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, makes sense.
Whoever's most accessible, I would think.
Yeah, somebody that's accessible, because
somebody
we
who's
have a lot of
accessible,
checks
yeah.
that need to be signed. I'm looking at you. You're right across the street from us. It would be very convenient,
Yeah.
but that's just my opinion.
Would you like to be treasurer, sir? Do I have any?
She's over here being quiet.
Hey,
Anthony,
I'll take
Anthony's
that.
close?
Been that quiet.
Yeah, and Anthony is close. I mean, if they need a check signed
Yeah.
or something like that.
Oh, yeah, we were moving. We were moving.
You're not either, so
Moving on up. Are you interested in doing it?
Sure, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to make Anthony Rios treasurer of the DUI board. And
I'll second it. Can you make the second?
no.
Oh, no, second. Oh.
all in favor?
Okay, aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Perfect.
Also, it will have to be in our minutes presented to the bank
Correct.
to.
And I'll need to get some information from you, Anthony, and I'll get that over emailed to you.
That it needs to be in our minutes that we, I need to make a motion to remove Sandra Oath.
Correct.
From, the checking account, and to add Anthony Rios to the checking account.
We also, on a side note, need to remove Alexa. She's never been removed. It's never been discussed in meetings, so.
Can I do that in all
Yes,
one?
yes.
One big motion? I'd like to make a motion to remove Alexa and Sandra from the checking account and to add Anthony Rios to the checking account.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Perfect. I'll get that done, and then I will get that information over to you, and then you can do everything through email, DocuSign.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll send you everything like you sign, you don't have to go to the bank.
Next, I had a meeting with Southwest Bank. Because we are doing very well, our nonprofit checking account is growing. So I think as of today, we have like $235,000 in there. I looked historically, it looks like we've had right around the $100,000 mark. When I started, we had $122,000 in there. So we're starting to bank some money. As a nonprofit, you don't want a large lump sum in your checking account. So I talked to Southwest Bank, and I wanted to present to you some options. Their recommendation is moving $100,000 over to our money market account, to a money market account. Currently, we don't have any other accounts besides a checking account. So they would like, and I think it's a great idea, to move $100,000 to a money market account. The benefits to a money market account versus a savings account is you can touch it. It's not held up in a CD. If anything were to happen, we had an event, we lost city funding, something happened, we would still be having access to it. You can still write checks out of a money market account. You can write 6 checks a month with no fees. So it's still very accessible. I just got an email this morning that 0.15 percentage has actually jumped to 0.65% in a money market account at Southwest Bank. And so I think it would be a wise financial decision to move at least at the minimum $100,000. My goal would be to bank that up as much as possible, keep around $100,000 in our checking account and move everything excess of that over once or twice a year to keep it making us money in that account. But I need y'all's approval, and I want to hear what your thoughts are. I'm not a finance expert, so by no means do I know everything. I just was looking at it, and I wanted to bring it to your attention, and I thought this might be a smart move for our program, but I would like it to be a discussion.
How much do we normally make in a year since it's just the nonprofit side, on that side, and how much do we normally spend? Again, these would be budget answers.
Yeah, so typically it's lost $5,000 a year for the past 5 years. This year we made around $45,000. So I don't have a clear answer yet because I haven't been in this position long enough to have a growth model presented. But I could say that I would assume $40,000 to $50,000 annual income above and beyond all of our expenses would be a safe bet moving forward.
Is there a minimal that account has to stay at?
No, so it can be, the minimum is $2,500.
And the reason I'm asking, when we do the Festival Street, whatever, that money, I mean, there's gonna be certain things we want that.
100%.
Budget.
Yes,
That now we can say, well, I really wanted trash cans or benches or this.
Correct.
And it's not in that budget.
Yes.
So at that time, we can pull that money out.
Absolutely.
And use it.
yes, yes.
with
And
this-
and while it's sitting in that account, it's making us money,
Yes.
as opposed to being in the checking account where it's not doing us any good.
Is this money ear tagged that can only be used for certain things?
No.
No.
No, we do not, well, for Fandango, we receive grant funding that is specific. Outside of that, it's all open grants.
Okay. I'm okay with moving
I-
it right now.
I have one with my whole field company, and it works perfectly fine. Yeah, you can access that money at any time.
Right, again, you have access to it. You can write 6 checks without a fee per month. So if we got into a bind or there was a board decided, when we get to that point, hey, we do want to buy trash cans and it's $40,000, we can write a check from that account without a fee, no problem getting that money out. But in the meantime, it is just sitting there making us money, and we can keep an eye on that and, with the board's discretion, kind of move money over as they see fit. It's just, I think, I'm surprised that we don't already have one. I think that as a nonprofit, it's important to put your money where it can grow as much as possible and that you still have access to it. So I think this would be a really smart financial decision, but again, it is a board decision.
That'll be included in the P&L statement every month, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, what we'll do is we'll create a new, account for that in our nonprofit, and then we'll show, you know, what, if any activity happened on that account.
I was gonna say that you wanna keep those monies fluid, and definitely the amount of checking equipment to put in, that would be hard.
Yes, sir.
To say if you have about this much, you can slide in there, there may be a portion, maybe even here, that could go a little deeper into, 3-month CD. 6-month rollover CD, or 1-month CD, but we compare the APY between the two.
A 30-day CD and money market, I bet you there's not gonna be that.
I don't know, leave it a seminar.
There's not gonna be
Yeah.
much for that.
Not going on.
Yeah, and I spoke to the bank representative, Miss Kaylee Banda, this morning, and she did let me know that that's quite an increase. It's a 0.5%, so increase over what it was.
Do y'all have any questions?
I think it'd be, I mean, not seeing the money as much may help us budget our events to what money we do see, to where we make more money, than to feel like we have that extra
Oh, we have
money.
$250,000 sitting in our checking account, we're totally
We're
fine.
good, yeah.
We-
but
it
if
doesn't
we
matter
only
if we lose
see-
money.
If we only see that 100,000, it's like, okay, well, let's try to budget into
Right,
that.
right.
And it might start helping us build up that account more.
Correct. And I think, you know, the more money you have in that money market account, the more money that's gonna make us, the higher the percentages. And so, I just think it would be, like I said, a smart financial decision, but again, it's a board decision, and, I just wanted to present you with the option.
I'm good with it.
I am.
Are you good with it?
I am, absolutely, yeah.
Tish?
No, it's a wise choice. I'm curious about the amount. What do you guys feel about the dollar figure going in?
Well, we don't use anywhere near even $100,000 during the year. So I think that $100,000 to put into that would be very safe, because we don't even come close to using even
Well,
$100,000 per year.
And it's accessible either way.
Yeah, and it is accessible, so it's not
Yeah,
like
and
what-
before we spend money, we're bringing money in. So there's not events that
Yeah.
we're not bringing
Correct.
money in to pay
Correct.
for itself.
Correct. Yeah,
So, even if it's a
Absolutely.
wash, you know, like our state of downtown, typically a loss or a wash. But we're still bringing money in to pay as it's going out,
Yeah.
so.
I'd like to make a motion to move 100,000 from our checking account and open a money market account at Southwest Bank.
Perfect.
I second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Great. I will get that done. Next up, I wanted to tell you guys that we have signed up for Constant Contact. Savannah's got us signed up. It's about $24 a month. And, this is to stay in contact with our downtown businesses, our folks who are on our mailing list for our events, like our food trucks, our market vendors, anybody who's interested in what's going on in downtown. We're gonna start a quarterly, newsletter. And this is gonna also help, the foundation of our Downtown Business Association. So we're launching our Downtown Business Association in February or March. And so this is gonna tie into that, so.
I want to say thank you for starting the Downtown Business Association. I've only asked for it for 5 years.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll talk more about that in February. It's gonna be a really cool thing, and, we've got a lot of excitement around it, so that's gonna be great. Next up is the board packet. I know that we have some new board members and, some of the other board members. I didn't know if you had all of this. So in your board packet, which is your folder, you will see the most recent copy of our bylaws. And the other side, you have our board of directors and who they are appointed under, their contact information, so y'all all have each other's contacts. The next page is the staff contact, so myself, Martina, and Savannah. The next page, we went ahead and printed out a list of every board meeting, the time and location for the 23-24 year. And then the last page is our 23 event list. So all the events that are coming up that we had on the books at the time. So just so that you guys will have that information, we wanted to have it handy and make sure everybody was aware of what was going on. Any questions on that? Perfect. Let's move on to event discussion. Since we haven't had a meeting in quite some time, we have a lot of events to discuss. First up, our downtown art tour happened October 28th. That was a completely sold out event and it was awesome. John was a part of it. It was really, really well received. We had 5 stops. We went to the Marriott, we went to John's and painted sugar skulls. We went to the sidebar, and we had a Catholic church set up an ofrenda, authentic ofrenda, and we had live music there, and the ofrenda was kind of explained and how it tied back to Dia de los Muertos, and it was really, really cool. We had live salsa dancing and salsa tasting at Torchy's. We had at the Ector Theater, the UTPB mariachi played, and their folklorical dancers danced on stage. Phenomenal. It was amazing. And then we finished up at the Marriott, and they did a personalized cocktail, specialized cocktail just for our event. And marigolds are really important in the Dia de los Muertos holiday, and so they created a one-time only simple syrup with fresh marigolds, and it was excellent. And they did a whole demonstration on how to make the cocktail, and everybody got to take that cocktail recipe with them. And we had we partnered with them, and we had a really beautiful pamphlet printed out that had information on each stop, and it was color and had photos, and it was a really good time. Lots of really good feedback. People really enjoyed it, so that was a very successful event. Treats on the Street, October 31st. We had 10,000 people come out downtown. It was from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and it was wild. It was wild. We had people all over the place, so many businesses. We had 31 businesses participate and be stops on our treat map. And so how that works is we send out a letter to all the businesses and let them know we're having this event. They pay $100 to be a stop on our map. And then Savannah created this really cool map that was the Treat Street map, and it has everybody's stop. So as you come in and you grab a map, and then we also had stamp cards. So we wanted to make sure our goal always in all of our events is to get people into our downtown businesses. And so to assure that that happened, not just come and get candy, you had to go to at least 10 businesses and get your punch card stamped, and then you were entered in to win prizes. But that guaranteed that they went into our businesses, and we got a lot of really good feedback from the public and from the businesses. A lot of people were like, I didn't know this was down here. I had never been to this gift shop. I had never been to this restaurant. It was really successful, and we had hoped for 2,000. Everybody told us we were crazy, that 2,000 people would not come down here on Halloween to trick or treat, and we had 10, so really successful. Shop Small, this was done an online event this year. We had reached out to businesses to let us know what events they were having, or special sales on Shop Small Saturday, and then Savannah put it on our website, and we did some social media promotion. We have some ideas on how we can better that next year, kind of make that a little bit bigger of a deal, and so we'll be working on that to kind of expand on that for sure.
Can I ask, for advertising, what have you found to be most successful?
We have a really big social media following. So we've grown it almost double from 1 year ago. We have it varies depending on event, but I would say 100,000 impressions are easily attainable. So for our smaller events, we like Treats on the Street, things like that, we only do social media, but we do it early. So we do about 6 weeks out, we do a big push, and then we just have it on there, and then the week before we do another big push. And so that's been really successful, but like for Parade of Lights, for Fandango, our advertising budget is upwards of $25,000. We advertise on every single news station, Spanish speaking included. We do radio advertisement, we do social media, we're doing web engagement. So we're sprinkling money out to every option. So Christmas recap. Parade of Lights, again, happened on December 3rd. We had 304 floats, the largest we've ever had. It was crazy. I thought the Parks Department was gonna kill me. They do all of our staging, and in case you don't know, our city departments, we could not do our job if it were not for every single city department. Fire department helps us. They fill our barricades. Police department does all of our security. Parks department is at every event helping in any way that they can. Keep Odessa Beautiful helps us with all of our trash pickup. Street department helps with all the cones and all the barricades. And solid waste brings us a roll-off at no cost for every single event. Drops it off, picks it up. Every single department, our accounting department, our everything is crucial in what we do. And so we are above and beyond so thankful for our city departments. I mean, we could not do what we do without them. They are so helpful. We all work together extremely well. We just had a recap meeting for Fandango, and it's just phenomenal. Our legal department, Jan, I bother her all the time. And everybody is just incredibly helpful, and I could not have done this job, come in and done this job without our city department. So that just had to be said. Like, they're crucial, and they do not get enough recognition, and it's really the most amazing part of this job is having 600 people that are all here to one common goal. So it's really fascinating. Anyway, back to parade. 300 floats, took 2 hours. Parks killed it. I mean, they just lined them all up. We were not sure how they were all going to fit in the OC parking lot, but they did a phenomenal job. And it was long, but it was fast at the same time. There were a couple, we just had our recap meeting. There were 2 gaps, band related, and so we really have to go back and talk to ECISD about our band situation. There was one really big gap, and then there was a little bit of a smaller gap, but the big one was about 500 yards. So that was the main issue that we took away. Security-wise, great. OPD did a fantastic job. We did have a suspected drunk driver run into the barricades at University when the band was lined up right in front of it. So if we didn't have those water barricades, it could have been really, really scary, but that just goes to show that the $11,000 we spend on water barricades is a necessity. So we are trying to still get the city, with our city funding, to purchase water barricades. But with the recent changes in administration, I'm not sure where that's going to be, but we're still working towards that. So, parade was extremely successful. Again, we did our letters to Santa. I just told you all about that. We had about 300 to 400 people come through. That was at the Rose Building. We had cookies donated, so everybody got a cookie and a water, and got to have photos taken with Santa Claus. Those are up on our website. And then we had our market, which the market vendors were extremely happy with what happened. Some of them sold out, so they all want to come back and do it again. So I think the public really enjoyed that. It kept people downtown. You know, a lot of people park and then just sit in their vehicle and wait for the parade to start, but this got them downtown walking, so they, had gone to the sidebar to have lunch or gone over here to have lunch and then gone to the market. We had food trucks, so that was really successful, and I hope to continue that again. Any questions on the parade? Perfect. New Year's Eve, we in the past have done a big New Year's Eve thing at the Marriott where we hired a comedian to come in, and one year we did steak dinner, one year we just did appetizers. It was not successful. I think last year we had less than 40 people attend. We lost a lot of money, and so we did not do that this year. Again, I think our mission is to get people into downtown businesses, not detract from those businesses. And I feel like that event on New Year's Eve goes against our mission. It's having an event when we have all kinds of bars and restaurants that are having their own events. So we're now competing with our downtown businesses, which is not what we're here to do. And so instead of that, we got with the downtown businesses. So the house had a big event, and the Marriott had a big New Year's Eve event, and we promoted those businesses. So Savannah got with them, got all the information, and then we supported it on our social media. We have a big following, and that is little to no cost for us. And so that's a big resource that the downtown businesses can use us for. So we did not have a New Year's Eve event. We supported the New Year's Eve events that were happening in downtown already. Our event coming up is State of Downtown. Lonnie, John, and Sandra have already been sponsors. The Marriott is our title sponsor. So if y'all haven't sponsored, I would encourage you to do so. We've sold 12 tables. We have 18 available to still buy. There's a total of 30. Again, another thing, going back to y'all's question of how we've become successful. We used to do this event at the Marriott. The one year that we did it at the Marriott, we lost about 30 grand. We moved it back to the Rose Building, and last year we made, I think, 12. We made 12,000. So just little tweaks like that, finding where we can, it might be a smaller space, but is it going to be productive for us? State of Downtown, the purpose of State of Downtown is for downtown stakeholders to kind of see where we've been and where we're going. We celebrate our best downtown new business. We celebrate our volunteer of the year, and then we celebrate our legacy award winner. And so it's okay that it's 250 people. That event does not need to be a 1,000-person event. It needs to be a smaller, more intimate event with our downtown stakeholders to show appreciation for them and show them what we have on the agenda for the next year. So we have Katie Neeson. She's from Bryan, Texas. We met her at the Texas Downtown Conference. She's going to come in. She's a business owner and entrepreneur from Bryan who has vested interest in the Bryan downtown area and has kind of bought real estate and redeveloped it, and talks about downtown is a totally different ballgame. It's not, your strip mall on your busiest street in the city, and how you can kind of tailor your business to being downtown. So we thought she'd be really beneficial for our downtown business owners, just to kind of reinvigorate them about being a part of downtown and how special that is, and some ideas for them. So we also wanted to ask you, we had Sunflower Pharmacy nominated as a new business. So they are not new. They've been downtown for 3 years. They were originally housed in the bank building, and they bought a building across the street, renovated it, and they have opened a new location. Same owners, though. I didn't feel like they qualified. As much as I love them, they're fabulous, but I don't feel like, based on the rules, they qualified. But I wanted to give the board an opportunity to weigh in on that and see what y'all thought before I made a decision.
It's new business that's opened the previous calendar year. Not moved.
I agree.
And, it's new business that has opened in the downtown area previous year.
Or fallen under new ownership.
Yeah.
Right. If they had moved from the east side and moved downtown, and that would be a new business downtown, but they've been there for 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're awesome people also.
They're phenomenal, and I love their new shop. If y'all haven't been into it, it's not just a pharmacy. They have all kinds of cool stuff, and it's a really neat place, but I agree.
Service is great there.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. Okay, so we're gonna remove them as a new business opportunity and take them off, so. Again, you can sign up to be a sponsor, grab your table on our website. And again, thank you, Lonnie and John. Y'all have already done that, so appreciate it. Easter, we're going to do it just like we did last year, except we have ordered 40,000 eggs. Last year we ordered 10. We ran out in 4 hours. So we borrowed 10 from Parks, and we ran out in the next day, so about 8 hours. So we're ordering 40,000, and they asked me about 17 times if I was sure. But we bought 40,000 pre-stuffed eggs. Easter will be from April 3rd to April 6th, and it's just like it was last year. So we do the bunny trail, the bunny map. We ask businesses downtown to sign up. Last year we had 20. We're hoping we can get to 30-ish. We had 30 for Halloween, so 30 would be great. And then we pass out eggs to these businesses. Then we go, and they're already stuffed with candy, so everybody gets a candy, but in some of them, we will spend about a long time gathering prizes and then stuffing eggs. So we print out a prize slip. So last year we had TVs, hoverboards, gift cards to downtown businesses, blah, 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 blah. And we put those in eggs. So then we pass out all the eggs to the businesses. We print out maps. The public has a map. They know who's participating. They go into that business. They grab an egg, and they could or could not win a prize. So it was really successful. The public loved it. And we're going to do that again this year. That will be April 3rd through the 6th.
And it wasn't just kids? There was
No.
a lot of adults that participated. I mean, like,
My favorite one was an 80-year-old couple that were on a day date, and they were just going and anything that they won, they were given to their grandchildren. But they were just having the best time. We had the entire health department come.
department,
They
yeah.
came, and they all did it as a group. Martina was working in equipment services. Equipment services came out and did it. It's for adults and kids, and it was just got people out walking around. It was beautiful that week, and everybody just was having the best time. So.
lots of people.
After that, we have Mud Bugs with Meals on Wheels. I had talked to them. I thought that would be a really good event to have downtown. They've kind of outgrown the Coliseum, and I explained to them that downtown is somewhere that you don't outgrow. We can add a block and expand it and make it bigger. I think I had talked to him about it. He was on the fence. I think we have decided it's not going to happen this year. His concern is the cost of infrastructure, which just reiterates the need for that festival street to happen sooner rather than later. But infrastructure to have an event that you're going to have alcohol at downtown is very expensive. And so it's not going to happen this year, but it is something that we're going to keep on and try to encourage. After that, we have Tacos and Tequila. Again, that's a partnered event with West Texas Radio Group. That's going to happen in May. I'm not sure what date yet, but we've already had our first initial meeting with them, and that is on the books. Next up is Mural Fest. Again, that's a partnered event with Odessa Arts. It's really their event. We're just helping them out with infrastructure and such, not financially. That's going to be on May 13th. That's going to be a really cool event. We have 5 new murals coming into downtown that will be painted in a week. We're going to have food trucks and art vendors, and they have this thing called the Bike Zoo, and it is like bicycles, but it's giant butterflies or 14 bikes put together, and it's a snake that everybody can ride and just make like this snake that snakes through, and it's like all elaborately done and lights up, and it's gorgeous. They have the Paradox van that's going to come in. It's a school bus that she goes in and rips everything out of, and it's all painted inside, and so you walk in and it's all painted. They're looking at doing piano art, so there will be 5 pianos painted by artists, and then they'll just be out on the corner that are free for people to go up and play. And so there's all different kinds of art things that are happening that Odessa Arts is planning, and that's going to happen May 13th in downtown. So mark your calendars for that. Hot summer nights. So there's some discussion as to whether or not we're going to keep hot summer nights. It's been a tradition for 27 years. I am in favor of keeping it. I do agree that it needs to be revitalized. Hot summer nights used to be the only thing there was to do downtown. I think that there is a lot of stuff to do downtown now, and so I also feel like we've brought in the same music artist over and over and over, and people are tired of seeing the same bands over and over and over. So what I would like to do is take it and shorten it. I think 8 concerts, June and July, is excessive. We have, in between that, we have Fandango, and I have a staff of 3. So to work every Friday until midnight, have a huge event, and then do it again for the next month, is just not something that I want to do. So I would like to shorten hot summer nights to 4 nights. That would be 4 nights in June. I also think we ought to look at changing the vibe completely and moving it to a Thursday. I think a lot of people are traveling in June, and a lot of them travel on Fridays. So I think we should look at potentially having hot summer nights on Thursdays and seeing what that does. And again, doing 4 instead of 8, and looking at changing who we're bringing in and what that looks like. So we're working with Odessa Arts right now to kind of, that is a partnered event. Hey. Oh, it moved to 11.
I'm so sorry.
You're fine. We're working with Odessa Arts. That is a partnered event. And so we're trying to figure out what that's going to look like, and what would be best. But do y'all have any thoughts or opinions on Hot Summer Nights?
I'm curious, you're doing four in a row in June? Mm-hmm. I wonder if you spread them out bi-weekly, if it would draw more people. Sometimes less is more.
100%.
So if you have 8 events going through 2 months in a row, well, if I go to one week, well, I'm old, I'm not gonna be able to make the next one. So,
Yeah.
so I think if maybe you were to spread them out, take those 4, spread them out from June and July, and have it every other week, say, 2 weeks apart, you might draw more crowds that way.
Okay, yeah,
I'm just,
definitely.
No,
that's a good idea.
I don't know if that works or not,
Yeah.
but it's worth a try.
No, I think we need to take all the comments, all the suggestions, and write them down. We're gonna get with the play committee as well. They're a big part of this, and see what everybody thinks. Hot Summer Nights is expensive. It's a free event, and that comes out of our nonprofit specifically. Yeah. City funds are not allotted for Hot Summer Nights, and so we do have some events like Easter. None of that comes out of city funds. That's all nonprofit funds. Hot Summer Nights, majority of that comes out of our nonprofit funds.
And is it Odessa Arts and us? Do we split the musicians? Do we?
How it's worked historically is downtown paid for all the infrastructure. So porta potties, barricades, lights, wherever we're doing it. If we're going to the Ector, we pay for the Ector. And then Odessa Arts books and pays all the musicians and the associated fees with that. So hotels, transportation, things like that.
And we probably will not be in the Ector because it's just, didn't they say they've got a lot of dates that we don't have? And
We're trying to figure that out. Yeah, so Ector could be a potential possibility. It's very expensive. It's $3,000 minimum to be in the Ector per night. So that'd be $12,000. So we definitely have to seek sponsorships for that, which we seek anyways, but there's not a lot happening around Hot Summer Nights because we're also competing with Fandango, which Fandango cost us $155,000 to throw. And so that's our main focus. We have to fundraise for Fandango. There's no way around it to keep it free. We've got to fundraise for that. So there's just a lot that we're trying to work out right now for Hot Summer Nights.
I think we should just kind of let Play Committee look at it since they
That's
know a
our
little more than us.
yeah, that's our
See what
plan.
works, because that's us and Odessa Arts working together to do that.
Yeah.
Is there certain bands that y'all look for? I mean, we used to own a radio station. A lot of the bands that are wanting to come out for people to know will do this for free, just so that they can get recognized. So there's a money saver right there to
Yeah.
find bands that say, you know what, we'll give you the stage, you play, let people hear you. And we had a lot of bands that would do that and come play for free or minimum money, just so that they can get heard.
That's a good idea.
And, so that's money saving that we could try to find some bands that are willing to do that for us.
Okay.
to-
Yeah. I think what they do now is that they've been going on the Texas touring roster. They get a lot of their grants through that stuff. And that's kind of where they've been looking. But I think we're looking at other options. And it doesn't have to be a band either. It just says Hot Summer Nights. It doesn't say Hot Summer Nights music. It could be a comedian. It could be something totally different. It could be a variety show. We've looked at a couple of different things. So, our demographic for Hot Summer Nights has been on the older side, 65 and up. And we only had our biggest concert was about 300, and that was Stephanie Urbina Jones. That brought a lot younger demographic and a lot more Hispanic demographic, which is what we are. And so I think we need to play into that. I think we need to make sure that we're having, if we do music, that it's playing to every demographic, that we are encouraging everyone. We're not just having country music. There's a lot more out there than that. So I think I think reworking it, looking at some of those kinds of things will be really beneficial. Um, First Fridays. So First Fridays is a Randy Ham passion project. He really wants First Fridays. I think they would be great. Let me tell you a little bit about what it is, and then I'll tell you my thoughts and opinions on it. First Fridays is like Lubbock has a very successful First Fridays. First Friday of every month in downtown. Lubbock is art centered, so they have all different kinds of galleries and showpieces. And everybody knows on First Fridays they have food trucks and gallery openings and live art paintings. And you go downtown, you shop around, have food trucks, and it's a really lively place. Savannah just went and said it was great. It was really organized. There was a lot happening. They create a map showing you each gallery that's open and what's going on, and it's really beneficial. They've been doing it for I'm not sure. They've been doing it for quite some time. So the thought is to create a First Fridays for downtown. You know, we used to do the art tour. The art tour is great, but it's very labor intensive. And so we're trying to figure out ways to still get people downtown, but not have it be so taxing on our small staff. So our thought was First Fridays, and what that would be is just every first Friday of the month, we would encourage downtown businesses to have a sidewalk sale or have live music or have a wine and canvas night at their place or whatever it may be. Just really, and it's going to tie back into the Downtown Business Association where we're all communicating, and it pretty much runs itself, right? So it's not us reaching out to John and reaching out to Anthony and reaching out to Izzy to all have something going on. They just know on the first Friday of every month, they need to have some kind of something happening, and they're a little above and beyond. Yes.
Do they encourage or have pop-ups also?
Yes. So you can have a pop-up market or food trucks can come in, things like that. So that would be the idea for First Friday, just to get on the first Friday of every month downtown, just everybody knows you come downtown and there's all kinds of stuff to do. Now, I think this is a great idea, and I'm 100% supportive of it in the future. I think today, if we have a First Friday, we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the coordination with all of the downtown businesses to be on the same page and have a great first event. And I think if you have an event that is not well thought out and the public doesn't come and have a great time, they will not come back. It takes one time for you to have a bad event or to have a bad experience to not want to come back. So my fear would be that if we prematurely put out First Fridays, there's 2 places that have live music. Well, that's not a First Friday. First Friday needs to be sidewalk sales or caricature artists sitting on the side of the street that a business has sponsored to be there, or something, boutiques having sales, or it needs to be more, and I don't think we're quite there to have a First Friday. There are varying opinions, and I'm open to listening to all of them, but just telling you my opinion, if we prematurely do a First Friday, it will be the death of First Fridays. So that's kind of where we're at. We're talking about it in Play Committee. It would be kind of a partnered thing with Odessa Arts. Odessa Arts would like to do away with Hot Summer Nights and instead do First Fridays. And like I said, I love a First Friday idea, but I am a meticulous planner, and I only want to put our name, Downtown Odessa, on things that we know are going to be successful, and I'm afraid that would not be the case.
I agree. We're not ready right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you could possibly need to bring in somebody from Lubbock or wherever that's organized that so they can, since they're experienced
Yes,
at it, that
absolutely.
they might be able to.
Savannah met with them.
Yes, so I have a meeting that's currently scheduled. It was supposed to be for today, but we've reached out to the program manager, both Randy Ham and I. So we will be meeting with her. We've got a lot of questions so far, like what do we do in case of inclement weather, logistically, who is handling most of this, and lots of other questions that we're wanting to pick her brain about. So we should have more answers on that moving forward.
And I agree, at this time, we're not ready.
Right.
I think since we're doing our business association, that needs to be in place first, because the businesses will have to participate.
It'll be business ran.
Right, and do it, or we will fail.
Yeah.
Or we will fail. I mean, that may be where we ask an attorney to open up and have an artist set up
100%.
miniature
Yeah.
gallery in there.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna have to be the business owners do it, and if you only have 2 or 3,
It's not gonna
a
work.
First Friday. It's-
Well, and again, a monthly event, it just can't happen with 3 people. We are already stretched so thin that we cannot be responsible for running a monthly event and reaching out to 30 different businesses and lining up everybody to participate in those. So it would be way too taxing on me and my staff to take that on. So I think once we get a downtown business association, once we have more groundwork laid, this is fabulous, and I think it's an absolute need for downtown. It keeps us alive, it keeps us current, it's ever changing, it gets people downtown to see our businesses and the things that we have and are growing. I just don't want to do it prematurely, would be my opinion.
Agree. Do you think that we need more places open? I mean,
100%.
That's they're
Yeah,
guaranteed. that-
absolutely.
And we've got,
Yeah.
what, another 4 or 5 coming this year, so I think that, yeah.
Yeah,
can
we
look at
just,
that.
added homemade wines, we've got your icon about to open, we've got the new McJack, that's a really cool store. So I think we're getting there, we have a lot of momentum. I just don't wanna start a brand new event and say, hey, come look at us, and we're
We're not ready.
in the building stages. It's like
Yeah.
whenever you're trying to sell a house, you don't send it when it sticks, you show them what it could be. We're not quite where we could be yet, so I just wanna paint the best picture and show downtown in the best light. And I think doing it in February would be a mistake.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so sorry, moving on, we talked about that. Fandango, it's gonna be July 1st this year, that's on a Saturday. We need to discuss the map. I'm waiting, I didn't bring it, but we're waiting to talk to Odessa College. So as you know, OC is building a downtown campus, that has a really cool outdoor area. And we're waiting to have a meeting with them. We've reached out to them a couple of times, but we want to see, is that going to be available for us to use? Last year we did Grant West over to the park. It was really successful, but it was insanely crowded. We had 25,000 people. The most we ever had was 12 prior to last year. And so we've got to expand it. We expanded it last year by 4 blocks. We've got to expand it bigger. So we want to now encompass Texas for sure. I think we want to put the car show back on Texas. But now we need to know, are we going west like we did last year to the park? Or are we going to flip it and go east and incorporate the OC park and Jackson? And so we're waiting to talk to Odessa College and see what their thoughts and opinions are on us incorporating that into our footprint. So as soon as we have that, we're going to need to get a vote. Last year, there was some conflict of whether we went up to 5th, whether we went up to 6th, whether we encompassed 5th, didn't encompass 5th. And so we've got to kind of get those hammered out and not wait till the last minute like I did last year. I take full responsibility for that. But I was way overwhelmed. So this year I have a better understanding about what we're doing and what needs to happen. I have a better understanding about the event as a whole. And so I think we're going to be in really good shape. We've already started locking in some vendors. We're getting our same tents and chairs like we did last year from El Paso. It's about a quarter of the cost. We've already got with Ricky Hickey and got all of our jumpers and such so that they don't get rented out from underneath us. We're getting with our barricade company, except we need the footprint before we can lock in the barricades, but they are aware that we're going to be renting them. Light towers, porta potties, all those things we're trying to get with. We also wanted to talk about VIP. Last year we did our VIP in the Rose building. I heard mixed reviews. It was quite expensive. We spent I think it was about $8,500 to have the VIP in that area. And the VIP had their own bar in the Rose building. They had air conditioning and they had private restrooms. So that was the benefit of being a VIP. My question is, everybody said that every time they went in there, nobody was in there. And so what is it that VIPs want to see? If you're coming to Fandango, you're a large corporation that is sponsoring us. What are some fringe benefits that you want to see? I think restrooms, not a porta potty, is important. But my thought was we have like porta potty trailers that are air conditioned. They're nicer. They look fancier. So it's still a porta potty, but it's air conditioned and nicer. Would that be a comparable?
My question, who got to go in the VIP area?
City council,
Okay,
city manager,
Okay.
city manager staff. I think we gave to, and then board members.
okay.
And sponsors. Part of our sponsorship packages included like drink tickets and VIP passes.
I was so busy with the car show, I never got to walk in
I-
there,
I-
so I never got to look.
And I'll be completely honest,
I never got to go in there.
I never stepped foot in there.
Yeah.
I stopped by there a couple times, there weren't many people there. I'd say we get rid of the VIP area.
I'm in agreement. I mean, that was really for the board and for the city council, city managers. We need to be out there on the streets working this thing anyway.
Yeah.
We need to be out there making sure everything's going fine, everything's sitting, hanging out in an air-conditioned room. I'm all for getting rid of it. Our job is to be out there making sure everything runs smoothly. And if we're hanging out in that room, then we're not doing our jobs, which obviously people were out doing their jobs. Because
Yeah,
there
Alma
weren't
worked
people-
the
there weren't
VIP
people in
area
there, so
by
yeah. So I
the
mean,
entire
it
time.
worked that way, so.
Yeah.
So,
What we put it for, unless we put it for maybe for other people, say, people that come to the parade and want to have access to it that have nothing to do with our board or with city council or any of that, maybe we can open it up to people like that.
Like
that can
sponsors?
purchase. Yeah, that they can purchase,
Right.
sponsors, whatever, that may be a benefit to them. But it wasn't a benefit to us, because I never even got to look at
Right.
it, so, yes.
Yeah,
so what did the building, the food, everything cost us to do that?
it was like $8,500.
And that was inside only, just that.
Did they get any VIP seating by the band or anything else
I
like
was
that?
gonna say,
No.
why not we do it downtown where they can see what's going on and still do a VIP, but like you said, for other sponsors or people. that-
And we had thought about that. So we thought about doing some kind of crowd-controlled area that is at the very front of the stage or off to the side a little bit. That is a designated VIP area at the stage where you don't have to bring your own chairs. It's already set up. And you have to have a badge to get in that. And then we do like a trailered porta potties. So they're nicer porta potties. You have to have VIP to get into the air conditioned porta potties. And then do drink tickets, like we did this year, but they could be utilized at whatever bar.
My concern with the VIP for the porta potties is, how do you tell somebody no? You know what I mean? And I don't wanna do that. I don't want the public walking up and wanting to use the restroom and somebody says, I'm sorry, you don't have a VIP pass. It doesn't work for me. I would rather be treated with the masses than try and be somebody who, I get to use that because I have a VIP.
Okay.
That's my opinion on it, because, on paper it looks good, but when you've gotta tell somebody who has a little 5-year-old child that needs to use the restroom and tell them, sorry, you don't have a VIP. I wouldn't wanna do that, and I don't like the way that looks.
Okay.
So I think that, in my
But it could
opinion, I
be
would go
set
with
up-
Just share both.
It could be set up close to the seating area, for the convenience of the VIP.
But it'd be open to everybody.
Be open to.
That's true. Yeah, and last year I think we rented, Lonnie, how many? I think we did 75 porta potties.
I don't.
I think we did 75 porta potties and it was not near enough.
But I think the Rose Building VIP, or, not just necessarily the Rose Building, but any building, it wasn't used that much. And are we gonna lose sponsorships because they don't have VIP?
Well, that's a question. I don't know. What are we doing some kind of VIP seating in lieu of an air-conditioned VIP area? Are we doing, this is a nonprofit and you're sponsoring because this is a entire community-wide event and the biggest community event of the year? Are you sponsoring to be a part of that? Those are things that I need board guidance on.
Maybe a smaller one, if we're gonna do it, and I get it, maybe some food, maybe some alcohol, maybe do that. But when most of it, when I was in there last year, was city council members or their family or whoever they wanted to bring in, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we offer it to the sponsors and give them passes to give to their families, friends, whoever they want to give them to. I think it's enticing for the sponsorships and it helps them. But we as a board, I mean, we don't need that. I mean, we're going to be out
Right.
there working anyway.
Well, and
so
we,
it's-
we had some council members that took 15 tickets. We had some council members that didn't take any tickets. So, you know, a lot of the board didn't go to the event, but then, you know, we ended up paying for the drinks
For
and the
all of
food for the family of
Yeah.
15 council people. You know what I
Now,
mean? So.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of offering more for the sponsors and them having passes for their families, friends. I mean, that's what the sponsorship, you know, if you're gonna entice them to sponsor.
Yeah,
that
if you're
gets
giving us
them in the door.
$25,000 for a
Yeah,
headliner,
yeah.
I think there needs to be
Yeah.
some
I agree.
benefit. But I think maybe you're right. Maybe we just allow that to be for sponsors and not,
Council
Yeah.
members.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's us too. I mean, I don't want anybody to have
board
to
members,
pay
right.
money to come sit next to me. That'd be silly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think
We're
that,
already gonna be there to begin.
yeah, we're gonna be
I mean,
working.
it's
Well, I
We
won't
should
have
be
time
there
for it.
working
Yeah,
anyway, not hanging out in the VIP area.
yeah.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
how I look at it.
Well, then I will, in February, hopefully, I'll have the map potential options together so that I can get y'all's approval, and then I'll take it to city. And, you know, the concern was Fifth Street and the emergency route. And, so we need to start these conversations early so then I can take it to city council and get their approval on it. So
Was there a big change in route last year from the previous year?
there was, yes.
One.
Previously, it was just Grant, and then it was Grant and Texas. Last year, we added 5 additional blocks because I knew I was gonna blow it out of the park, and I more than doubled the
And-
attendance,
yeah.
and we were elbow to elbow.
Great job.
And also the fireworks were moved to First
Yes.
Street, so that's why some of it shifted over that way.
Right, yeah, the fireworks were moved downtown for the first time. They used to be
Yeah.
about 3.5 miles away. And we shot them off right at the corner of Second and Grant. And so we intend to do that again this year. We're working with Fire Marshal to just work through any issues or concerns that they have on that, but move forward with it. So yeah, we definitely need to expand. I can guarantee that we need at least 4 to 5 more blocks just for safety issues. I mean, we were almost to the point where we were gonna have to figure out a way to barricade it and not let anybody else in.
Yep.
Because it was a safety concern. So, we're definitely gonna have to grow it, which is amazing. We want to grow it. And that means that the public is responding and they appreciate that it's a free event where it used to be a $20 event. So yeah, I think it's phenomenal. Talent we're working on, we want to have MB Riders and Treaty Oak Revival and JoJo DeSalvo. So typically we've had country or Tejano, and I think we should change it up. So I think we're looking at MB Riders. I don't know if y'all know who that is. It's a really popular group from the early 2000s. I worked with Adam at the Ector to kind of see what, that's his forte. So what has been successful at the Ector? What are people coming and buying tickets to? And the MB Riders was the first sold out show at the Ector. They were really wildly successful. They're in our price range, and it's something totally different. And they're willing to do family friendly, so there will be no cussing or no anything. It's
I was gonna ask about that.
yeah, no, they are a like an R&B rap, but also rap in Spanish. So it's kind of a well-rounded, something new, something different. Treaty Oak Revival is a local, really, really popular Texas country band. So we're still getting Texas country for those Texas country lovers. And then JoJo DeSalvo is what do we describe him? He's like
Classic.
yeah, he does like classic rock, all acoustic, really great voice, just kind of easy listening, kind of like 97.9-ish vibes. So kind of all over the place, but I think that hits kind of all the demographics and invites the younger crowd to come out to Fandango. So, but we still have the country for the folks who love country, and so I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be different, and it's within budget, and I'm excited. Hours, so last year we did 6 to 10. And at 10 o'clock, we did the fireworks, and then it was me on a Kubota telling everybody to get the heck out of the footprint. And everybody wanted to stay until 11. So they thought, we just got food. We got food and sat down, and we wanted to watch the fireworks and then hang out and spend a little bit of time with our family before we started leaving. So we really wanted to come to you guys and get your vibe on going 6 to 11 or changing it and doing 7 to 11 if we want to keep it 4 hours. What y'all's opinion is. I think fireworks should still happen at 10 p.m. and then give people that hour to kind of clear out organically, because trying to clear it out with 3 staff members on 2 Kubotas is a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So.
My opinion, I actually like the 7 to 11, because setting up the car show, I mean, we set it up early, and we were out there for a long time. And keep
And
in
it's
mind,
hot.
at that time, sun didn't go down till about 9:15.
Correct.
So, if we do a 7 to 11, that allows people to hang out a little bit after the fireworks, because I agree, it was kind of rushed once it
It
happened.
was, yeah.
If we give that extra hour where people can hang out and just enjoy what's left of it.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I know we were out there for a long time, and of course, it's July.
Yeah,
it's
me and
hot.
my staff were out there from 6
Yeah,
a.m.
so,
till
yeah.
4 a.m.
Yeah, you guys
So
were out
we
there
were out
way
there
longer,
for 22 hours.
So, yeah, so I mean, in my opinion, I think the 7-Eleven would work. The 6-11 would work also, but the 1 hour past it, I think, would be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Any other thoughts?
I think 7 would work just as well as 6.
Yeah, but either way, even if it's at 7, there's still people there before.
Yeah.
Walking the shops, they're gonna spend enough time as it is. So does a time period really need to be, say, this is when it starts?
Yes, because that's when my music will start, and
At
that's
7.
when all my vendors will be assigned that they have to be back and ready to go, and that whatever time we open dictates what time my inspections happen, what time my load-in happens. So it definitely, I would need to know what time y'all want it to be set at to open. But people are always going to come early.
Yeah.
100% they're going to come early. There's no way to stop that, and that's totally fine. But I just have to have a clear start time so that I know how to schedule accordingly.
Now, can you schedule from 6 to 10, and then at 10, like they stop cooking, but you can stay till 11?
Yeah,
Because then it's gonna push you from 4:30 to 5:30 in the morning.
It's, you can. So we typically do that. But then you have, they're all individual business owners. And so telling them you have to stop selling at 10 and they have 25,000 people coming to their food truck.
Yeah.
How do you tell a small business, I know you have a line from here to Timbuktu, but stop. Which I did. I did that this year. But it was not a fun feeling. It wasn't. But at some point you have to,
Well, it's gonna
because
happen at 11 also.
yeah, 100%. I think what we could do is we could tell them that we're going to stop selling at 10 so that if they're in line, they can go ahead and finish up. But at 10 o'clock, we need to start wrapping it up so that at 11, it's not just the same thing just an hour later, where we're still on our Kubotas shoving people out.
I think we still should start at 6. And how many policemen do you have there?
Well, a lot.
Why didn't they do crowd control? They should have. Do you agree?
No. So our officers are there that we have, which this year we've got to add. We have to add another first aid section. We only had one, and it was way too segregated from the other end of it. So we need to have 2 different ones, which we're going to talk about. And OPD did do crowd control. They were walking the event the entire time. But I think to shut it down, I don't know. I think that they are preoccupied with security of keeping their eyes open and making sure that as people are leaving, it's leaving in a safe way to then go to every single vendor and say it's time to wrap up. I think that's my job.
Right, the
So,
vendors, yes.
yeah.
But that's when also you do the contract this year, and if it is, so whatever, in the contract, it's till this time. And when you have your pre-meeting, tell them, we have no choice, you're done.
We do. Again, we did that last year, and they just, it's you have a small business who's trying to make every dollar that they can, and they have customers willing and able to pay right in front of them. It's hard to walk in front of that and be like, you're done. You know, we did it, but I think we need to reimagine that and kind of, maybe we didn't do a great job pushing that in a meeting, and that needs to be first and foremost. This is your selling time from this point, and at this point, it's shut off. But yeah,
Kill music, 10 o'clock, where music is done at 10. And then I think with it being quieter, they're gonna start leaving anyway, and so you can serve till 10:30, period.
Yeah.
And then you're done.
yeah, and I think the problem is you know, it's a food truck, and food trucks are notorious for taking a while. So you cut it off at 10, but then you have 15 people waiting on their hamburger. So by the time they get their food, it's 10:30, and then, you know, it's just, that was a little bit chaotic, but it's a problem that you can't really solve, so.
But that might help the crowd control, like you're saying, is it's over at 10, but if it's just quiet, people little by little leave instead of pushing everybody
Yeah,
out at once.
yeah.
You know, little by little, it starts.
Yep, so we end our music at 9:48 or 9:45, fireworks go off, and then it's not, there's
Get
just,
out,
it's dead, you know, it's slowly, I think you're right, once it's quiet, vendors start stopping selling, and, yeah, okay,
So your job is cut in half with so many people already half gone.
yeah,
It helps a little.
yeah. Okay, Low Riders Against Bullying will be back this year. That's a partnered event, and that's gonna happen on August 19th. West Texas Fest is a partnered event with the Illinois Art Museum. That's happening on October 13th. Treats on the Streets will happen this year on October 31st, and Parade of Lights will happen on December 2nd.
Got a question on the lowriders against bullying. I know we had some issues last year with that, everything, but are the police willing to work
Yes.
their event?
Yes.
So they've already,
Yes.
that's my
Yes.
thing, is I would hate for them to book this and then the police say, we're not.
No,
working
we've
that
had
event."
discussions with everybody, and everybody's on board. They know what the expectations are gonna be. We're also working with legal department, as we speak, to create a partnered event contract, that will lay out everything, and then they will be signing it, and we'll be signing it. That's for all partnered events moving forward, so.
Good deal.
Perfect, so moving on to old business, I know we got about 15 minutes and we gotta go. Discuss the CO and the update on progress. So as you all know, we have $7 million that's been allotted from a CO in 2019 for downtown revitalization. There has been a lot of discussion about whether it's gonna be on Texas or on Jackson Street. That's kind of where we're at right now. We did get the approval from City Council to hire our design firm. We hired KDC and Associates to help us with really sitting down and figuring out what elements are going to be key in that festival street. But before we can do any of that, we've got to figure out Texas or Jackson. There's positives and negatives to both. I think I've been very clear in my opinion that Jackson is clearly where it needs to be. We've had 4 different consultants come in through 4 different groups and look at our downtown footprint, and every single one of them independently selected Jackson. Council wants Texas. Texas does not make sense to me because Jackson is in-capped. We have the Marriott on one side, we have the post office on the other. Texas is one of the busiest streets in downtown. Texas would impede, 30 businesses versus 5 on Jackson. We need to play into the partnerships that we have. Odessa College is building a brand new state-of-the-art downtown campus. Why are we not building and improving that area around that, which would be Jackson? We're looking for built-in infrastructure, lighting, sound, shade structures, removable bolsters so I don't spend $10,000 renting barricades for every event. This is going to be for our small to medium events. Our West Texas Fest, Mudbugs, Tacos and Tequila, Murals Fest, Hot Summer Nights, Low Riders Against Bullies, Treats on the Streets, those kinds of things where we need 2 to 4 blocks. You know, we have 2 blocks east and west, 2 blocks north and south. So to me, in my opinion, Jackson is where it should be. I'm not willing to die on that hill. I just want to see progress in downtown. So if it's Texas, it's Texas. I just want a decision to be made, and I want to move forward so that we can get this designer to come in and tell us where our $7 million is going to go, how we can improve it, and how we can see some progress in downtown. We've had this money sitting in the account since 2019. It's 2023. Like, we've got to have some progress. And I think the bureaucracy kind of slows us down sometimes, and so I'm just trying to keep the pedal on the metal and move it forward. So that's all of the update I really have right now. We're meeting again with the designer in February. Between now and then, I've tasked myself with going door to door up Texas and door to door up Jackson and speaking to every single business owner and getting their input, because at the end of the day, this is really going to affect them, not us. Right? So if you're on Jackson and I have events where I'm shutting it down for a Friday night event, we're shutting it down all day Friday. So that's going to affect you. I need to talk to traffic, because what does that do if we have Texas shut down on a work day? That also butts up to the courthouse. So we have to get their permission every single time I have to go and speak at Commissioner's Court to get their approval. If we're wanting to have an event on a Friday, they have business as usual at the courthouse, so we wouldn't be able to use that. We can't close off Texas and impede all of that traffic coming in. So I just don't think Texas is a logical street. But again, I'm not willing to die on that hill. So if that's what it is what it is. I just want to see progress. So we're gonna.
There's a lot more development on Jackson than there is on
Correct.
Texas.
Correct. And it wouldn't solely be on Jackson. We would have intersectors that continue to the intersections and future development plans to where we could then incorporate Texas. And then we incorporate back over to Grant to where we have those fingers moving back. But we have to start somewhere. And we only have $7 million. And while I'm grateful and thankful for that $7 million, that's not going to go far. And so big scheme, yeah, I would love to have unlimited funds and we redo and make everything beautiful and perfect, but we're not there yet. And so we have to have some starting point. The design firm that we've hired, they're going to tell us a realistic expectation of what we can do wherever we choose to do it, Jackson or Texas. But they're also going to leave us with deliverables. So in the future, when we have this $100,000 that grows and we keep doing really well, and in 5 years we have $250,000, we will then have deliverables that we can say, these are bid packages ready to go. Here's all the design aspects, and we want to completely redo our sidewalks on Texas. Well, here's what we already have. We don't have to go through this long process of getting everything together. Now we just hand them this, say, here's $250,000. We've got everything you need right here. They do everything leading up to that point of just purchasing it. So all of the surveying, all of that will already be done. All of it will be done for all of our wayfinding for our entire downtown area. We don't have the funds to do the entire downtown area, but we can start incorporating small sections at a time. And then as more funds come in, that's our point, is to move forward with it that way. But right now we're just laying the groundwork for the future and what the downtown, the possibilities are, and that's kind of where we're at. So I'll have a better update in February once we meet with them and make a decision, because then we'll have to take it to council and see if they can come to a consensus on Texas or Jackson. So.
Do you think we need to grow our committee back since we've lost Philip and Mike?
Yes, 100%. And, once we do make a decision and we go to to council, it's super important that I have board support on that. That you guys show up to these council meetings and you speak on the behalf of downtown and say, this was a consensus, this is what the DOI board thinks should happen, this is what we want to see move forward, and it's not just me and my opinion moving forward. Your support is crucial to downtown moving forward. And so that's what these board meetings are for us to talk it out, figure it out, and come to a consensus so that we can go as a unified unit to council and hopefully encourage them to pass these things along.
With that, I mean, we have one board member, which is myself, Casey, Craig Stoker, Hal, Parks.
City manager, so that will be, Mr. Bernal now. We'll need to loop him in
And then
on
we
what's
had
going
Philip,
on.
which will be him now.
Correct.
I think it would also be good to possibly put him on the board, which is an architect, to kind of discuss some of the stuff that may can help us also with that.
Yeah, 100%, yeah,
I would like that.
yeah. Yes, that's something we can discuss.
Love you, John.
Welcome to the board, my friend. Welcome.
Okay, moving forward, the 380 agreement for the J.C. Penney's lot. This was approved by council. I'm not at a point where I can give full updates, but we are having some issues right now with this, and we'll be. I'll have more information in February. So that's all the update I have right now. Discussion on grants. So, Ambler Law, we know that Miss Rachel Ambler passed away in a car accident. I've been working with her husband, to get everything submitted. They submitted everything. I got it all submitted to city, finance. Finance got it submitted to ODC for approval. And then, the law firm reached out to us last week and have rescinded their request. So, they're gonna sell their building and they will not be requesting for a refund of their, grant. So that one will be removing off of our thing, but it's a beautiful building and, ODC didn't have to pay for it, so. Under construction is Petty Cardio. I know that we talked about that last time. They're doing a facade and infrastructure. They've run into some issues with their contractors. They're currently in litigation. We went to ODC and requested an extension and that was granted, so we'll keep an eye on that. It was a 6-month extension that happened in November, by the way. Under construction is Icon Facade and Infrastructure. They've received a 6-month extension and we are talking about going to ODC to do an amendment for the fire suppression. So when this grant was originally submitted, fire suppression was not included. That was on the mistake of the DOI staff, not the owners. Fire suppression is covered expense. It should have been on the grant, but when it was submitted in 2020, it was not added. And so I spoke with Sean and he brought it to my attention and I didn't think that that was appropriate. So I asked the ODC advisement grant review board to get together. We all got together last week and agreed that Sean's gonna work on getting all the bids that he needs, and then we're gonna take it to ODC to see if they will approve it or not. So that's where we're at on that. I think that amendment is like an additional $40,000 that they would be eligible for, and I think that's important. And I also think it's my job to be the advocate for the downtown business owners. So I take that, real serious, and I'll always do whatever I can to support them. So
I appreciate that.
yes. Under construction also is Little McJack Properties. They are open. They received an infrastructure and a facade grant. They're currently gathering all their stuff, making all their final payments to their contractors, and then they're going to submit all their receipts. But if y'all haven't been in, it's gorgeous. It's so cute. They've done a lot of work. The outside of the building looks phenomenal. And it's a really cute couple that owns it. So. Homemade Wines, if you haven't been to their downtown location, it's beautiful. They do lunch and dinner, and it's delicious. The staff and I went and ate there. We didn't drink wine. We wanted to. We smelled it a little bit, but it's really cool. So we're waiting on them to submit their reimbursement documents also. And then Partu, Mr. Partu Persnickety, we received all of his stuff. And we're just waiting on the insurance. So there was a confusion on what insurance was needed. I think they sent over their general liability, but we need their building insurance. So he's working on getting me that over there. So, and then lastly, any comments or suggestions on what you would like to see me go over with you guys? Any questions that you have? Anything that we can do as a staff differently? We'll be more than happy to. Let me know.
I I think you covered it all in the last 2 hours we've been here.
Sorry. I try to talk really fast.
Yeah, no, good job, good job. That's a lot of stuff to cover. That's 3 months worth, so.
Yeah.
Any comments, questions?
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, then we will continue doing what we do. I have the girls send out, Martina sends out the calendar invite with the attachment, and then also just the basic email with the attachment, so that everybody can have it. And if we don't have your email correct on those contact sheets that you guys have in your thing, or there's a different one or a different phone number, please let me know so that we can have it all up to date and get it sent out.
We'll call the meeting at 12:40.
Thank
Thank
y'all very
you.
much.
Thank you.